Let's call today's meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
John Barrera,
Here.
Pete Coverstone is absent. Amanda Howell,
Here.
Les Kinder,
Here.
Pam Rice.
Here.
We have 4 members present.
Do we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion.
Second. Yes. And I do think we have one.
We have one agenda change. So today we received a letter of resignation from Heidi Perry. So wanted to add that. So if you go under personnel consent item, I'd like to add item C. Recommend the approval of the letter of resignation of Heidi Perry, high school English, effective July 31st, 2026. Will be the item we'll be adding.
Anything else? Roll call, please.
Les Kinder,
Yeah.
Pam Rice.
Yes.
John Barrera,
Yes.
Amanda Howell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Public comments. The Board of Education recognizes the value to school governance of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. The board offers public participation to members of the public in accordance with Board Policy 0169.1. The Board of Education asks that individuals wishing to make a public comment register their intention. We have 2 that have signed today. Anyone else not sign the? Okay. So first we have Brian Fine.
Brian, my name is Brian Fine. First of all, I wanted to thank you guys for, the resources that you've given for the track teams and the softball teams over the last few weeks. You've given a lot of resources, going buses and coaching and all that. So it is very much appreciated. My question was, is it in the next 2 to 5 year budget frame or on the condition of the track being resurfaced or redone? If you guys haven't went out and seen it, which I don't know if you have or not, I'd ask you to look at Bethel or Covington. They just got a new tracks. Obviously, it is very, very nice. And just compare that to the condition of ours. That's all. I was just curious if in the next 2 to 5 years, if it's in the budget to have something done with the track.
Okay, thank you. We don't typically interact back and
No, that's
forth. Here. Okay, yep, just stating that up front. Okay, and then Russell Eichhorn. You pass? Okay. All right, Superintendent Good News Report.
Okay. 2 items. Last meeting, we kind of went through kind of the year as a whole. And since then we had a couple of different activities continue to go on. So just want to give a shout out to our softball team. Our girls ended up going to the Final Four, lost to Wheelersburg. I believe Wheelersburg ended up winning the state title. So once again, very good season. Proud of all the girls, all the coaches, all the families. They worked very, very hard. And, I know it was a season to remember for all of them. And then also wanted to give a shout out to our track team. We had several students, as I said, the last meeting qualify. We had a lot of kids that qualified for regionals when the regional meet was getting ready for that next night. So we had several kids qualify for state. So our state qualifiers for track, girls 4x1 meter relay was Reagan Hufford, Tatum Wesco, Stella Bowman, Olivia Loafman. We had our boys 4x1, Brady McGarren, Brandon Stone, Caden Bodie, Jack Hamaker. Boys 400, Ryan Neff. Ryan also placed second in the individual 400. Gunnar Weldy in the 800. Tessa Kress in the 1600. So podium was top 8. I believe Tessa was 9th. So she was right there, one spot off the podium. Collier Ellifritz with high jump. And then our boys 4x4 team of Caden Bodie, Garrett Fine, Ryan Neff, and Gunnar Weldy won the state. They had, I believe, not just a personal best. Again, I believe they had another school record. It was 3 minutes, 20.3 seconds, something like that. Thought it was going to be a really good race between Miami East and my alma mater. We ended up winning by 4 seconds with some things going on. So very proud of the boys. Again, when you're at state and you run your PR for the season, that's what we expect. So, bringing home a state championship for the boys 4x4. So congratulations to all of our softball and track who finished strong in state competition.
All right, moving to the treasurer's consent agenda.
All right, tonight for the treasurer's consent agenda, there are 9 items recommended for approval. First, there is recommended approval of the May 27th, 2026 regular board meeting minutes, approval of the January 1st, 2026 special board meeting minutes, approval of the January 2nd special board meeting minutes as presented.
June.
Oh, goodness, what did I say?
January.
It'd be a lot cooler outside, right? And recommended approval of the month ending May 31st, 2026 financial statements. Recommended approval of account modifications as presented. And then the last 4 items are standard resolutions that we have to close out the fiscal year. And I'll go into more detail later.
Do we have a motion and a second?
Second.
Unless.
Okay, so going to the month ending May 31st financial statements. Just a couple of items that I want to bring to your guys' attention. I guess I'll start off with the financial summary. So as of May 31st, fiscal year total revenues were $22,553,108, which was up about $700,000 from 1 year ago. Total expenditures from all funds were $21,009,000 compared to $21,145,000 1 year ago. Jumping down, just looking at the general fund revenue as of May 31st, 2026, our fiscal year total general fund revenues were $19,698,427, compared to $18,554,000 1 year ago. And total general fund expenditures were $18,099,000. Compared to $17,473,000 1 year ago. Jumping down to the spending plan summary, which I'll show you guys the chart momentarily. Through May 31st, our actual total revenues and other financing use sources, which is line 2.080, were $19,675,000, and that's short of our fiscal year to date estimates by $608,000. If you'll recall, last month it was about $1.1 million different. I'll show that in a second. Previously, we received the state reimbursement for property taxes from the state in April, and this year it didn't hit our account until May 4th. And so last month, I know I shared with you guys that there was quite a bit of discrepancy, and I think the biggest piece that plays into that is, Miami County sent out letters to all homeowners encouraging them to only pay the first half of their taxes rather than paying the full year at a time. And so that's where we're still trying to figure out those House Bill 186 implications of just capping some of that to the deflator. And so the state, I know they've started to send out a lot of notices to where different counties have started sending out notices stating that they're going to extend the due date for those next real estate payments. And so districts are starting to expect that we will have those tax settlements later. So that's something that we'll incorporate when we're planning the spending plan for next fiscal year. It doesn't really affect it right now. Miami County has been awesome in terms of their communication for the districts and what to expect. And then they're also encouraging us all to request our tax advances. So that when they have the funds, they're able to send them to or disperse them to the public entities. Just because with that delayed due date, they're not expecting to have those settlements when they normally would. Fortunately, we have the cash carryover that will be okay. But what I would still recommend is that the district continue to request those advances when they're available from the county auditor. So just some changes there, but we're looking a little bit better projected for fiscal year end in terms of revenue than what we were last year. If you jump down to the 7th page, would it be 6th page, 7th page? You'll see that in this top line, right here, line 1.050, our current month estimate was $0 and we received 579,000, which put us only $13,000 short for the fiscal year. So if you guys have any specific questions about that spending plan, I'm happy to go into more depth, but a lot of the changes this year seem to just revolve all around those property tax settlements, but I think as long as we're constantly communicating what we're expecting and having good communication with the county auditor's office, then, you know, we know what to expect and we can prepare for that. The account modifications, just to mention that we have account modifications sometimes throughout the year. But at the end of the fiscal year is when we typically see a little bit more, and all of these have to do with the federal funds. So the state had a deadline of last Wednesday to submit all of our federal funds for reimbursement, and we got all of those submitted. There was about $9,000 that we're gonna have carry over from Title I from this fiscal year to next fiscal year. And which is pretty good. But I'm expecting that we'll receive all of those funds before we close out the fiscal year, so there won't be any need for any transfers or advances there. Kind of dropping down to those next ones, you know, that number 6 is approval of transfers and advances of funds necessary. I don't think we'll end up needing that. If we did, I would make sure to present those to you guys just so that everybody's on the same page. But this resolution would allow that to take place. And then final approval of appropriations. We don't have any changes at this time. And then recommended approval of temporary appropriations for FY27 at 25% of FY26 actual final expenditure amounts. That just allows us to get the new fiscal year started before permanent appropriations are due in September. Any questions on any of the financial statements? So.
Not on the financial statements, but remind me when we're reviewing the 5-year forecast, because I know that timing is
Yeah.
Different with your exit, you know, as well.
Yeah, so I thought that we were going to end up doing one in May, even though there's not one due. My plan now is to just do so they changed the due dates from May and November to February and August. And my plan is that we will have the August forecast prepared for next month's meeting.
Okay.
And we'll just do that and submit it for August at that time.
Okay.
Just to, you know, kind of be a little bit prepared ahead of time. So we should have enough information to prepare well for that. Most of the changes that we'll see in July will be staffing related, different things like that, but then a little bit on that property tax side of things now that we've started to see how our tax settlements evolve.
Okay. Anybody with questions for Al? Roll call, please.
Pam Rice.
Yes.
Les Kinder,
Yes.
John Barrera,
Yes.
Amanda Howell.
Yes.
Motion passed. Next, for the treasurer's report, we have recommended approval of grants and donations. We received a $935 donation from Cove Spring Church to the food service fund to support student lunch balances, a $300 donation from Indian Creek Design to the athletic fund, a $146 donation from Traplin Tom's Coffee to the athletic fund, a $100 donation from Lester Francis to the class of 2027 Student Activity Fund, a $500 grant from the National FFA Organization to the FFA Student Activity Account, a $200 donation from Georgia Group to the class of 2027 Student Activity Account, and a $260 cash donation to the class of 2027 Student Activity Account.
All right, do we have a motion and a second to approve the grant donations?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
I think, as always, we just want to thank the generous individuals and organizations that contribute and give back to the students of Miami East. I know each of the ones for the class of 2027 came after the junior class outreach day. And so even though they're giving back to the community's giving back to them as well. And so it's great to have that mutual support between the students and the community. And then I always like to mention, Indian Creek Design, Traplin Tom, some of those organizations, they set up shop at some of our events throughout the year, and then they give back to the school as well. So I know sometimes people question those things, and it's like, those are great supporters of Miami East as well.
Okay. All right, roll call, please.
John Barrera,
Yes.
Pam Rice.
Yes.
Les Kinder,
Yes.
Amanda Howell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Superintendent's consent agenda.
All right, we have 5 items for consideration tonight. New York trip for next school year, updating a resolution, approval of certified and classified substitute rates of pay, and then the recommend for the random drug screening policy moving forward to next school year.
Do we have a motion and a second?
Motion. I'll second.
Okay. Going through, we try to get the overnight trips approved as early as we can. So I know that this one's April of 27, but normally we approve that senior trip as early as we can. So they went ahead and are going to go ahead and start making that plans and want to have board approval before they make that final plan. Item B, I made a mistake last month. I put the wrong case number on our board agenda. So this is to revise that case number that was approved at that last resolution, 8905, 2026. And then as far as certified substitutes, we have our daily rate. If you're in the position beyond 10 consecutive days, and then if you're in the position beyond 60. If you remember, when Alex and I first started working together, we started with our classified subs rates of pay of trying to get closer to step 0. So we achieved that last school year for this year. So our substitute rates of pay are step 0 on our classified negotiated agreement. So that's what that link would be right there. It's a salary schedule for next school year. And then continue the approval of the random drug testing policy. I know we had some questions about urine samples. I had some saliva samples provided this past year. We got rid of that and stopped this policy. The only thing that's updated has been the dates. So it will be urine samples for next school year.
So no changes.
No
to the-
changes to it besides the date.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That will be Dr. Helsley.
And,
Oh, go ahead. I got a couple of questions on that too. What does
Yeah.
that cost us?
It cost us somewhere around $3,000 roughly this past year. And I know I've had conversations with people on it it was set up we've had it set up for several years, and I know the reason why it was established. And, people have asked me, does it make sense? We're not the only school in the area who does it. I think part of it is it's also a deterrent for students, and I'm hoping that it is a deterrent from keeping some kids from making choices that otherwise we would not want them making those choices too. So I know it costs us around $3,000.
Do you know, have we ever had a kid?
We do.
who has
We
actually tested
we
positive?
do. We get some every year. Not a whole lot, but it does happen. Yes. Mhm.
Just a question, and I should know this, but I'm asking anyway, on the rate of pay for the substitute,
Yeah.
how is that across the county?
We,
Are
we raised it.
changed
I haven't seen next year's rates for everybody. What we did this past year for this one was, or this current school year, is we raised our rates to be competitive with what the rest of the county's rates were. So I believe we went from maybe 110 to 120 last year. So we did raise those rates last school year. So I'm recommending that we keep them the same.
Any other comments, questions? All right, roll call, please.
Les Kinder,
Yes.
John Ferrera,
Yes.
Pam Rice.
Yes.
Amanda Howell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, moving to the personnel consent agenda.
All right, so for this meeting, we made the amendment at the beginning, so we have 3 items for recommendation. We have the recommendation to hire a K-8 swing shift custodian, recommended for some additional service hours for Miss Rose, and we added the approval of resignation of Heidi Perry, high school English, effective July 31st.
Do we have a motion and a second?
Motion.
I'll second.
Okay, just a little bit on the first 2. Our swing shift custodian at the K-8 resigned. We approved that one previously. His last day was the last day of school, May 22nd. So we had some interviews and wanted to recommend, like I said, Sam Henning. He's a recent graduate. He just graduated with us. And, he's eager, and we thought he would be a good fit for that position and for the job. So I know his aspirations are to work in manufacturing and robotics, but he said even if he gets a manufacturing job, he wants to work multiple jobs. So right now we think it would be a good fit. As far as timing wise goes, with this week, with the board being approval tonight, with only Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because Friday is Juneteenth, which is a holiday for our staff. We thought it makes sense to bring him in next week. So that's why you'll see his effective date is next Monday. When it comes to Mrs. Rose, each year we approve a few different hours for her. Some of what we have on here is she did some work also getting ready for state softball tournament with booking hotels and making reservations. But normally with fall sports starting August 1st, she comes in and makes sure physicals are ready for that August 1st start. So that's why we approve some hours for her over the summer. And that's what we have.
Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Les Kinder,
Yes.
Pam Rice.
Yes.
John Ferrera,
Yes.
Amanda Howell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Old business.
So we don't really have any motions for old business or anything, but we did have a couple things that we do want to discuss and talk about why we're doing it. So the last meeting, we approved the resignation of Mr. Rohr, elementary principal. We had around 30 applicants for that position, some with experience, some without experience. Last week, when we have Mr. Roth, about 10 of us in an interview committee. So Dr. Helsley, the new superintendent, has been involved with this process, and we are working on finalizing that candidate and hope to have that next elementary principal hired very soon. So that process is going very smooth. I think it's going real well. We kind of also wanted to talk, I know Mr. Hicks and I talked about adding some of the dates that we had already previously sent out about the treasurer search. So Alex, you want to go through again what those dates are that we have?
Yeah. So the board created a treasurer search brochure, which all of this is available on the district's website. If you go there, There should be a header at the top that you can just click on, to see some information. But the application window is from June 8th through June 20th. The board scheduled a special meeting for candidate screening on June 24th, which that will be executive session only. So will July 2nd for first round interviews and July 7th for second or final interviews, with a to be determined date, hopefully in July, early July, with a special board meeting to hire the new treasurer. So, yeah, so I think, that's kind of what, or that's what those, which I don't even know. It's not even. But, yeah, I mean, there's lots of information about the district, which I think helps attract, great candidates to the district. K-12's a very well-known very well-known organization that assists districts with treasurer and superintendent searches. So, excited to see how that process goes for the board. But yeah, that's information is listed on the district's website, and that's what all of the special meetings were for. All of those meeting minutes should be posted on the district's website now, and then we'll make sure that we get special meeting notices and agendas published there as well.
Right, yeah, we have a busy 3 weeks.
Yeah, we do.
My only question is, did we post this on Facebook or did we not put it on Facebook?
I still have not.
Okay,
I can, I think I said that before, it's like I can, and then I still haven't, so I can get that posted.
what are your guys' thoughts? I mean, I know we only have like 5 more days or something like that, but
Can't hurt.
yeah.
Right.
I do know that we do have multiple applications that have come in.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's good news, given
Yeah.
where we are in the, in the year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
but
Yeah.
if we could include it.
yeah,
Okay,
yep. I'll try to just get the brochure posted
Yeah.
and try to put a little blurb with it.
that'd be great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, any other old business?
We discussed previously, do we want to talk about the July regular meeting? I know I'm going to be out of town
Oh,
on the
yeah.
20th.
Yep.
I'll be gone that whole week.
So again, I don't have to be here to be able to run the meeting. But I know there's several meetings already that first week, but I'm going to be out the week of like the 12th and then that following week, the 19th.
Let's pull up the calendar.
And you're meeting right now, the 2nd and the 7th.
Correct.
Mhm.
So my recommendation would either be that the meeting stays on the 20th. I can't imagine Alex is going to have a forecast ready and the book's closed to move it to the week of the 7th, that we already have a couple meetings. So to me, it would either be keep it on the 20th. I know Mr. Coverstone couldn't make it tonight. We can still have quorum and go, or it's moved to the final week of the month.
I'm fine.
You're out the week of the
I'm
20th?
out, yeah.
Okay, is anyone else out?
When?
The 20th,
week-
The la-
The 20th, where it's
20th.
where it's currently scheduled.
Fine with that.
Les, what about you? Yeah, I
Good.
think we'll need to double check with Jake just to be sure.
And we had talked about approval for treasurer,
Mhm.
2 weeks potentially after. Is that the last interview is the 7th?
7th, we were looking at potentially even the 9th,
yeah.
try to hire in that,
Okay. So we're looking at potentially
an additional special meeting just to
Just
do
get-
that.
okay, that,
Mhm.
I just want to make sure that was,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
fine with the 20th.
I mean, the 9th certainly, will seem more real once we see actually the candidates that have applied and how many we're
Right.
selecting for interview and all of that. But
So just leave
The
leave
20th?
July.
I think so.
Okay.
Yep, for the time being.
Yep.
Okay. All right, no new business today. Any, board committee reports? Then board member comments. Pam, do you want to go first?
Thank everybody for coming. And, hope all you and your kids all have a great, especially teachers back there, a great relaxing summer.
John, do you want to go next?
Sure, just, continue what, Mr. Hughes had said about our athletic teams and, I've only been on since January, but the amount of great things that are happening, our students are doing amazing things. So, there's a lot of great things going on, so.
Les?
Kind of support what John says there too, but also want to big heads up to our 3 wrestlers that are going to nationals. I know it's not being talked a lot about, but you know, we still got more kids out doing great things. Also, I really want to thank everyone for all the support to the school system, to the students. It's like one big family. We do, you know, we got a great family, great people here. So keep up the good work of supporting each other, and we'll go from there. Thank you, and keep supporting us.
I'll echo on, from a sports standpoint, I mean, just a couple shout outs. So one to the sheriff's department. I know that, you know, multiple days in a row when I think the champions came through. I don't know if the sheriff's department was part of that. I was in Akron, at that point in time, so didn't get to see it personally, but also the Casttown and the Fletcher Fire Department. And I'm not sure how everything was handled on the track side, but on the softball side, it took an army to try and get that many kids, coaches, as well as donations. And I mean, donations came pouring in, you know, from the community, which was, I mean, just, you know, shout out to the community we live in for, supporting all the kids, you know, through that. So, you know, wanted to call that out. But you asked specifically about the track. And so just to come back to that, we are looking at, you know, facilities. I think we've talked a couple times about the feasibility plan, which
Yeah.
ultimately leads into a facilities management plan for the district. So that's coming. You know, we've heard concerns, and people ask about the track specifically being on that priority list. I think we need to get our new superintendent in place, and then have the meeting, you know, regarding the feasibility plan for both the board office building as well as an overall view for the operations, maintenance, and potential new, you know, new facilities or new needs across the district. So certainly have not, you know, forgotten that, but did want to touch on that as well. Yeah. And that's it. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. Certainly appreciate all of you. All right, do we have a motion and a second to adjourn tonight's meeting?
I'll motion.
All right, roll call?
John Barrera,
Yes.
Les Kinder,
Yes.
Pam Rice.
Yes.
Amanda Howell.
Yes.
Motion passed. 6:33.